The six Sy siblings, Teresita, Elizabeth, Henry Jr., Hans, Herbert and Harley, inherited their fortune from their late father Henry Sy Sr. Their combined net worth is comprised largely of stakes held in the group's publicly traded SM Investments and SM Prime. SM traces its roots to Henry Sr., who sold overrun shoes in 1958 at a store in Manila he aptly called Shoemart. Today SM is one of Southeast Asia's largest conglomerates, with interests in department stores, supermarkets, banks, hotels, real estate and mining. While daily operations are now managed by outside professionals, the siblings sit on the group's boards and guide SM's overall strategy. Henry Sy Sr. was the Philippines' richest person for 11 consecutive years, with an estimated net worth of $18.3 billion in 2018. Lucio Co. and his wife Susan are owners of Per Gold Price Club, a supermarket chain they co-founded in 1998. Starting with a location in Mandaluyong City, the chain now boasts more than 350 stores across the Philippines. The family also has interests in gaming, hotels and wine distribution. Tony Tan Kakshing is the founder and chairman of Jollibee Food, one of the world's fastest-growing Asian restaurant chains. Jollibee operates more than 3,300 eateries in the Philippines and more than 2,500 stores overseas. Jollibee sells Filipino, Chinese, American and European dishes adapted to a quick-serve and affordable format. With partner Ed Garcia II, Kakshing also owns a stake in the fast-growing Double Dragon Properties. Kakshing's mother thought Tony was the most difficult to bring up among his brothers because he was the pickiest in terms of taste. Ramon Ang is the president and vice chairman of one of the nation's oldest conglomerates, San Miguel. Originally a brewer, San Miguel is now a leader in food and beverages, but the bulk of its revenue comes from power and infrastructure businesses. He also owns a substantial stake in Eagle Cement, which he took public in 2016. San Miguel is proposing to build a $15 billion airport and city complex at a 2,500-hectare location along Manila Bay. Ang started out by fixing and selling used Japanese car and truck engines. Later, with Eduardo Cojuangco, now a billionaire, he sold aluminum wheels. Fellow billionaire Eduardo Cojuangco and Ramon Ang are good friends. They bonded through a common passion for collecting and restoring vintage cars. Lucio Tan is the founder and chairman of the $2 billion Sales LT Group, which has interests in tobacco, spirits, banking and property development. In 1982, Tan established Asia Brewery. Now a subsidiary of LT, the brewery was the only one then to compete with the market leader San Miguel. His eldest son Michael is president of LT Group. Tan studied chemical engineering at Far Eastern University. Andrew Tan chairs Alliance Global, a holding company with interests in food and beverage, gaming and real estate. The son of a factory worker, Tan built his fortune developing large apartment complexes around Manila. Alliance Global owns the country's McDonald's franchise and listed brandy company Emperador. Tan's son Kevin is chief executive of Alliance Global and chief strategy officer of Megaworld. Tan's father splurged on a bottle of brandy at Tan's graduation from the University of the East in 1974. That was Tan's first time trying brandy. Jamie chaired his family's Ayala Group until retiring in 2006 when his son, Jamie II, took over. Now Jaime's 7 children control more than one-third of the $3.9 billion revenue conglomerate. His grandfather started with a distillery in Manila, then expanded the business into banking, real estate, hotels, telecommunications, and education. Jaime Zobel de Ayala graduated in 1957 from Harvard University with a Bachelor of Arts in Architectural Sciences. The six Gokongwei siblings, Lance, Rubina, Lisa, Faith, Hope and Marcia, inherited their fortune from their late founder John Gokongwei Jr. Their combined fortune is derived largely from stakes held in JG Summit, which has interests in airlines, telecom, banking, food, power and property. Lance runs JG Summit as its chief executive while his older sister Rubina is chief executive of Robinson Retail. Their portfolio also includes Universal Rubina, one of the country's largest F&B companies, started by their father as a cornstarch plant in 1957. Lance Gokongwei started his career selling Jack and Jill snacks to supermarkets and sari-sari stores in the Philippines. Enrique Razon Jr. chairs the International Container Terminal Services (ICTSI), the country's leading terminal operator. ICTSI also has subsidiaries in Eastern Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Razon's grandfather started the business with a port in Manila in 1916, before his father rebuilt it after World War II. Razon grew the business globally. His hospitality firm Bloomberry Resorts includes the Solaire Resort and Casino, its crown jewel, in the Philippines. Mr. Razon left school when he was 17 years old to take a minimum wage job at the family's cargo loading business and worked his way through the ranks. Manuel Villar is chairman of Vista Mall, formerly Starmalls, one of Philippines' largest mall operators. He also chairs Vista Land and Landscapes, Philippines' largest homebuilder. In December 2017, his company acquired Bria Homes, a developer of mass housing projects and condos, and changed its name to Golden Bria. In October 2019 he took his home improvement chain Alhome public. Villar's wife, Cynthia Villar, is a senator in the Philippines. Villar has been involved in politics and held positions including congressman, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator, and Senate President.